Hi, everybody, and welcome to High Scores, High Stakes Game of the Month Club for December 2025. And the game we are discussing tonight is Cardinal Smith's Game of the Year 2024. The only time he's ever named the Game of the Year that released in the year in which he has named it as his Game of the Year. We are, of course, talking about Team Asobi's Astro Bot. Cardinal is modeling the plush right there. We'll talk about the plush in a bit, Cardinal, because right now, before we get into the in-depth discussion of what exactly is Astro Bot, how it came about, and how good it is, and then place it on the patented High Scores, High Stakes tier list. Let's get some housekeeping kept out of the way. Who are we? What do we do? Because every episode is somebody's first episode. We are High Scores, High Stakes, the internet's only competitive PlayStation podcast, where in season, every week, me, Cardinal, Tomahawk compete against one another in PlayStation gaming challenges in a league table. The winner of the challenge gets 3 points, second place gets 2 points, third place gets 1 point. Whoever tops the league after 12 weeks wins the coveted High Scores, High Stakes Cup. Season 6 is just around the corner. When we are not in season, like right now, we talk all things PlayStation, all things gaming in our side quest series, where every episode is like a brand new podcast for your ears. And finally, the last Monday of every month, like today, is Game of the Month Club, where we pick a game, spend the month playing it, and come back here and deep dive review it. And that's what we're going to do tonight to Astro Bot. Now, how we usually start these things, gentlemen, is for me asking you, introduce yourselves. How are you?
Good. We've just been doing audio and visual cues for your entire housekeeping, so we're entertaining ourselves. Never mind here. Tomahawk, by the way. Hello.
It's an unruly night. Hello, Tomahawk. I love it. Cardinal here. Great to see you. Hi.
It is. It's the silly season, isn't it? It's what Christmas has just passed, and recordings have bumped up.
Stacked.
Yeah. The same as every year. Every year we do this. We're like, we should really plan better. And then what usually happens is we have to bombard ourselves with recording after recording after recording.
But it doesn't seem that fun if we were to do this episode, record it in October, and then have it sitting. That seems too forward thinking.
It does. It sounds like it sounds like thought process for another podcast, gentlemen. We do things legitimately here, chronologically in here.
And last minute.
And lastminute.com. Not sponsored. We're not sponsored.
I've messed about with my Pip-Boy bobblehead now and his head's gone wonky. Oh dear.
But yes, I can tell Cardinal doesn't want to talk about Bobblehead from Fallout, a game he's probably never played. Doesn't really care for. One game he has played is Astro Bot.
Let's stop. No,
let's not. It's canon now.
Let's not throw slander out there. I have played Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, briefly, momentarily. I played Fallout 4, completed it. It's all right.
Tune in for our Game of the Month on Fallout 4 next year.
Let's get to the Game of the Month that we're talking about this week.
Yes, let's talk about Game of the Month. Let's talk about Astro Bot, okay? Before we get into the deep dive review, let's start where we always start with these things, the development of Astro Bot. And usually this is a section that's full of wild stories, especially last month's, which was, of course, Cyberpunk 2077, which was a very in-depth development section, the most in-depth I've ever written in my life.
Astro Bot,
however, not so much. Not so much at all. It was fairly straightforward. So it was, obviously, it is not a sequel to Astro Bot's rescue mission on PlayStation VR 1, nor is it a sequel to Astro's Playroom. This is simply called Astro Bot because Team Asobi wanted this to be the first of a franchise. And it is, in their words, not mine, not connected to it at all. So it is. So there's really nothing to say here. I think the development on this started straight after Astro Bot's Playroom, so it took them 3 years. Team Asobi 3 years to go from Astro's Playroom to Astro Bot 2024, and that was with a team of 60. And that's really it. Apart from during the planning phase for it, they wanted it to be open world, like Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, okay.
But quickly decided that open world sort of would limit the amount of innovation they could push into the game. So they decided, no, we'll just do traditional levels that we can wrap around one or two mechanics and explore the mechanics to their fullest. So that is the only real big change that they had. So it
makes sense, really. I suppose when you put like open world aspects into a platformer, you kind of get a bit of choice paralysis, whereas this is quite a nice linear platformer. It has, as you say, one or two wee mechanics dotted into each of the levels, and then you're just told to have at it, go find your little bits and pieces.
Yeah. And that's really it. The only other thing they wanted to achieve with this was what they started with Astro Bot. Now, this is something Cardinal has been alluding to all year. Every time we talk about haptic feedback in games, Cardinal's like, it's only because you haven't played Astro Bot. It's only because you haven't played Astro Bot. I think Cardinal believes that Astro Bot has the finest use of the DualSense haptic feedback system. This is something that Team Asobi wanted to really innovate on with this game, and they wanted to take what they made for Astro's Playroom and bring it to the next level. Were they successful? I'm sure we'll talk about this during the episode. We will.
Tease.
Because this is something that they may just have succeeded in because... But yeah, that's really it. It was a really smooth development cycle. Team Asobi taken the two technical demos, basically. I mean, as good a game as Astro Bot's Rescue Mission is, it was a technical demo at its core for the PlayStation VR as a viable video game system, and Playroom was literally a tech demo for the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
So it was a teaser of what was to come. So I think we should just get straight into the review, the deep dive review of Astro Bot 2024.
I agree.
Let's start the rockets and let's dive into the universe of Astro Bot. Okay, Cardinal. Astro Bot released, correct me if I'm wrong, developed by Team Asobi for the PlayStation 5. It is, at the time of this episode, it is still a PlayStation 5 exclusive. I believe it will always stay a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Yeah. But it was released worldwide September the 6th, 2024. And it went on to garner incredible review scores because it is, in fact, the highest rated game on Metacritic for 2024, which puts us at a bit of a conundrum here. What if one of us doesn't like it? Let's talk about what Astro Bot is at its core. It is a traditional level-based with hub-level sort of 3D platformer. Every level introduces a mechanic, maybe two mechanics at a most, and it will push the player to engage with said mechanics and push their ability and skill limit to the absolute maximum with each and every mechanic they introduce. The whole aim of the game is to search the levels, find the missing robots, get them back to home base, and find puzzle pieces and hidden warp areas in order to access more levels. So if I'm right...
Well, no. The aim of the game is to find the missing core pieces of the PS5.
I mean, I was building to that, okay?
All right. But
you know, building to that. Scene, there was a whole,
I was building to that, Cardinal.
Yeah.
So all this takes place over, I think it's 90 levels, over 60 planets in 6 different galaxies. And at the end of each of the 6 galaxies, you will fight a boss, you will find a guest bot, and you will unlock or rescue, I suppose, a vital piece of your crashed PlayStation 5 mothership in order to escape the galaxy.
You say crashed, torn to pieces and cast asunder.
And then it crashed. So both can be correct. They're not mutually exclusive here, Tomahawk, okay? Of course, the big bad is the alien guy. Does he have a name?
It's just an alien.
I think he's just the alien.
It's just the alien guy. He
doesn't really, like, the game doesn't really, like, apart from the bosses who all get like their little names and their sub bosses who get like names and stuff, that the big bad, the BBEG as such, doesn't. He just appears, wrecks your ship, takes the CPU,
and you always
leaves you stranded.
Yeah.
He does mean things.
he takes all the core components of the PlayStation 5. He takes your CPU, your GPU, your SSD,
your cooler
RAM,
as well,
your cooler, and I can't remember what the last thing is.
PSU,
the GPU.
Yeah, so he takes all these. So it's your mission is to travel the galaxy in your twin. Is it dual speeder? Is that what it's called? The dual speeder.
It is this dual speeder. Yeah.
And to find all these parts and rescue all of your friends. And that is what Astro Bot is. It is very much a cutesy platformer. It is family friendly. I've said in this podcast before, this is the type of game I wish PlayStation would make more of, because over this last couple of months, me and the kids have all had a fantastic time playing this game together. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. Let's talk about, well, Cardinal, you are a resident Astro Bot expert here. You have owned this game since release. You've put 230 odd hours into this game, according to your PlayStation year review.
I think my child has a lot to answer for there. Like you mentioned, like just playing with family has been, there's times it's not been me on that PlayStation. So, but what's your question?
Where would you like to start with this? We usually discuss the development, which we've got out of the way because it was pretty smooth. We talk about the graphics, talk about the gameplay, we talk about the music, we talk about everything. We talk about the dual sense haptics. Where do you want to start with this? What do you think is where we should start with this game?
Gosh, okay. I guess from there's a lot to talk about, but the first thing I'd talk about is the gameplay.
Okay,
right? What makes this a good game at its core? Like not just we've talked fancy stuff, but playability, accuracy of the jumping and the movement, the camera doesn't fight you, the mechanics, and I'd say it's easy to play and pick up because I've had a 3-year-old pick it up and play it. Yeah. But it's really difficult to 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Like fundamentally, like it's a very, very simple, like, it's 4 buttons effectively that you use at all times on the controller. But as you say, a child, my 3-year-old can pick this up and jump and spin and do all that kind of stuff at the same time. But it is bloody tricky when you start getting into, like, obviously you get like the campaign, quote unquote, but when you start getting into like the speed runs and all the other bonus planets and stuff like that, that's when you kind of have to start to lock in and go, this is a little bit more than just a cutesy platformer.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think this game is infinitely playable. It's one of these games, I think I said it in a previous episode, it is a game that clearly takes inspiration from Mario and the classic sort of Mario setup. You have your hub levels, your hub worlds, and you, rather than jump through paintings like Mario 64, you visit planets within galaxies. And you're dropped onto a planet and the game will introduce its unique mechanic almost instantly in every single occasion. And in the level, we'll just go use that mechanic to get to the end. And getting to the end of pretty much every level in this game it's not easy, but it's easy. It is. It's not a difficult game. I mean, like I have my 5-year-old daughter is on the 3rd galaxy at the minute. And the only time she really asks for help is when there is a chain jump. You have to jump, spin, hover, and then maybe stop time or whatever, that sort of thing, where she just doesn't have the dexterity yet to do it. But she's beat every boss by herself. And, casual gameplay wise, I don't think anyone will have a problem finishing Astro Bot, the story, getting all the PlayStation 5 parts and taking off. I don't think it'll be much of a challenge. The challenge comes in, it's everything else. It's all the bonus levels. Like, while you're exploring a galaxy, a comet would appear, crash into it, and there's a challenge level. Or there is a little horde of PlayStation symbols where you spin around them, you turn them into a planet, and you go into what I call the void levels, because they are void levels from
Super Mario Galaxy. Are called as well.
I've no idea what they're called.
Yeah, I think you just go into the void and they are just little bonus levels, and they usually have
brutally difficult.
They usually are just a theme of like Dark Souls or Demon Souls, that kind of vibe. They always have that spooky aspect to them.
No checkpoints.
No checkpoints. No checkpoints is right.
Usually extremely short, but yeah, they usually have like a really simple mechanic that's designed to kill you. So one of the first ones is everything's made of ice and you can't stop. And it is basically, as my 5-year-old daughter put it, this is like a Roblox obby, Daddy. And I was like, yeah, sure. I don't know what that means, but yeah,
of course.
Couldn't put it better myself. But no, it's what I like about this game, and I think what makes this game so playable is it does the Nintendo thing of it has a lot of levels, but it takes one core mechanic, just one, and it'll go use this, and it allows them. I'm glad they didn't go open world with this, because as much as I enjoyed like you could replay and stuff, it really, that open world vibe really limits what you can do with challenges, and you just end up endlessly recycling the same thing over and over again. Whereas this game, it goes, okay, this level you're going to use your sticky boxing glove arms.
Yeah.
And it starts off really simple. Use it to punch, use it to break through walls, and then suddenly they're introducing like sticky spinning platforms where you have to Indiana Jones swing your way across gaps, and then all of a sudden they're chaining these and you're climbing up waterfalls using these things, and it just allows them to take every mechanic and explore them and just use every possibility with that one mechanic. What it does mean though is it means that everything's segmented. You're never going to stack 2 power-ups in one level, but you don't need to, because it is just so imaginative a game, and it takes Nintendo's like childlike wonder and puts it into a game that is for absolutely everybody. It's a great piece of design. I love the design of Astro Bot.
Oh yeah, no, it's brilliant. And like we played, like we did the playroom in season 5 as well, and it had all of like the all the little add-ons and stuff like that. So you had all the little perks and stuff, and they've added to it brilliantly, and it just creates this like new gameplay loop, like the VR headset where you can slow down time. The monkey symbols as well was a good one. The boxing gloves, we've talked about that one as well, and they refined the mouse one as well.
Shrinks you.
Yeah, you can shrink down. The bulldog, where you can just catapult yourself as well. The octopus, where you can float. They just created so many new mechanics and stuff to add into this game, and it creates like a brilliant like moment in the gameplay.
It does. Luvva, you talked about the imagination and the Nintendo style.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what I was going to say, but so I can't remember. Never mind.
Do you know what it does go? It gives me like Mario Sunshine vibes, because that was the first time in my sort of experience of playing Mario where it was like in a 3D platforming scape anyway, where it was like, here's a thing that you're going to have the entire way through it, but you'll be able to chop and change and work it.
And chop and change.
To it.
One thing I found is that my child goes back to specific levels to replay moments, like moments they really enjoy. Mm-hmm. So there's like one of the first like levels you go into, you just jump and knock a bunch of balls down, go down a water slide.
Oh yes.
And splash. And it's like one of the first ones, and she just like loves that. Or there's another one where you shoot a big water cannon at a sprout and it grows into a big tree. Yeah, or the mouse level turns into a mouse and has to like it goes through tiny holes,
and then you platform through all that. The
nooks and crannies in that levels, though, you're just you turn into a mouse and you could explore this room, and you go under a sheet or go up into an air conditioning unit by climbing up pictures on the wall or something, which becomes a totally different environment once you unuse your mouse ability and you're normal sized again. And it's great level crafting.
It's unbelievable level crafting. So it is. There, as you say, like everywhere there's like little hidden entrances to little nods to previous games in PlayStation's history. There are warp zones.
There's a whole other topic.
we'll get to that in a moment. But there's like little warp levels that will end the level there, like these hidden warps from Super Mario World. Or there are completely separate warp zones that will take you to the Warp Zone Galaxy, which is a collection of increasingly difficult levels. There's just so much going on in this game. Every corner, like, it's not a game that will always reward you for exploring, but there's always something going on, and it is just little nods to previous games in PlayStation's 30-year history, or a piece of hardware. Like, there is one particular level where you have to freeze things, and you freeze things and break them, and things will happen. But there is one part where you throw this item, you break a box, and it shoots a slack line to make a bridge. But the slack line is the PlayStation 1 controller cable. It's just things like this. It's just, if you are a fan of PlayStation, even if you're a recent fan from the PlayStation 4, there's something everywhere for you. There's just things happening.
Oh, it is. It's like a proper walk-in advertisement for the console, the franchise. Like, we talked about it in our like 30 years episodes as well. It is just there. It's in your face. But it's like, I appreciate the journey that the game, this piece of hardware has took us on for 30 years, and it's a lovely homage to it the whole way through. And it's just beautiful. And like you know, a child's not going to notice about that. They're going to see the big snazzy colors and the bubbly sounds. But I think for us playing this, it's like, this is memory lane. Really?
Yeah. Go ahead, Cardinal.
Well, I don't want to get into it. We'll touch on the characters and the journey it might bring you on, but you talked earlier about whether this or will be ported to any other platform. It's so PlayStation orientated, and it's full of characters from PlayStation's 30 years of history. Actually, it might be the best thing Sony ever do if they did.
It's just keep it contained.
Put it on PC. Put it on PC. No, put it on other platforms, because it would just be like, what are any of these games? I don't recognize anything going on. Maybe I should find out. But
see, that would be great if PlayStation had a lot of these games available, but they don't. I think true. I just don't see how this game could be ported to another system, because really. The haptic feedback in the controllers is still iffy on PC, so you're missing half the experience. Plus, you know, PC gamers aren't going to get a third of the references in the game. Do you need to get the references to get the most out of this game? No, it's still a great game, even if you don't understand half the stuff. But it adds, so it's like getting an ice cream. Ice cream's great by itself, but all those little fan service moments, those characters, those little secret bots, that is the sprinkles, your raspberry sauce, your flake on top. It makes a good thing incredibly good.
And you talk about Astro's Playroom, which came out before, had references with just bots filming, pretending to do scenes from different games. I didn't get half of them. Yeah. And I honestly, going back to try and play it now, the controls feel more sluggish or more jarring. I couldn't move it as well. Playing Astro Bot, the characters are colorful, animated, recognizable, and doing things that they would be doing in the game that you can recognize, and you can unlock little anime.
Yeah, that's just what you were going to say there. As you like rescue them, they then get transported back to like the hub world, and then you go and unlock their scenes. And then in like idle mode, that's what they do. They just recreate those moments in their little segmented area of their hub planet. It's
there's so much like this game, but I'm glad you mentioned, because you said about this for a very long time when we were doing episode 1 of season 5 there. You did say when you play the real Astro Bot, how you make those long distance jumps is different, and it is different, because it used to be jump, glide, spin, but now it's jump, spin, glide, and little things like that. It is a real iteration, and everything does feel slicker, like a lot slicker. Like I think one complaint we all had about season 5 episode 1 was the gimmick levels were a nightmare to control. Like the ape climbing one it worked, of course it worked, and it worked well, but it still left a lot to be desired, whereas the monkey climbing levels in this are night and day better.
Oh yeah. Even like the
100%.
ball control ones as well, where it used to be like the trackpad. This one is now just a tilt. I think they basically scrapped it up more or less out of the game completely. It's like one aspect where I found it playing, and it is just a tilt the controller aspect, and it's far cleaner.
Yeah, it's not as involved, but that's a good thing, because I think I said during that level, my wrist hurt so much from this, like DJ. But no, they've taken the core skeleton of Astro's Playroom and turned it into a spectacularly clean, polished game that is imaginative, that is fun to play. You talk about the camera system there, Cardinal.
Yep.
Like, my 5-year-old can move that camera around with all the grace that is required. She knows how to move it, where to move it to get to the next part of the level. It just works. It's better than any camera I've ever seen in a Mario game. I will say that much. It works perfectly. A lot of the time you don't even need to touch the adjustment for it.
No.
But if you're looking for the hidden secrets of every level, it does help if you spin the camera around. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no, it's a laugh, because like I can sit there and sort of play those levels nearly with like the blinkers on, so I just kind of go, there's the linear path, and then I'm like picking up my bots on the way through, and I'm going, how have I missed like 5? You can see like where the progression is in that level, and you've missed like 5 of them, and you're like, how did I miss that? You're just so engrossed in just this natural like pathway the game presents to you. Then you sit there and go, and then you crane the camera around, and there's a ladder that you've missed that takes you to a whole other section. They're very much blink if you miss it, but I think that's the kind of the joy of like the linear gameplay that this presents. You could just do that, and then if the exploration comes after.
Yeah, there's definitely 2 ways to play Astro Bot, and that is do the golden path, or explore every nook and cranny of every level and get everything the game has to offer. I think I've played about 18, 19 hours of it, and I'm on the 5th galaxy, and I'm trying to get everything that the game has to offer me in one playthrough. That's why it's taken me so long. I'm having a great time doing it.
This is a tangent, but have you played the Loco Roco episode?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Very good. Okay.
What I'll say is the tangent, but there's an episode based on a game called Loco Roco from the PSP, which you told me about. I'd never heard of it. This level is incredible. And I went back and played the Loco Roco game itself, and I thought, this isn't as good as the Astro Bot level.
It's incredible. They do everything so well. You talked about just how well it controls Cardinal. One thing, I think I mentioned this in my Yuka Replayly review as well, is one thing that a platformer like this lives and dies on is predictability. Is how fast does that character move? Is he going to pick up inertia? Astro Bot doesn't pick up any inertia. His moving speed is set, and it's all about, do I know how far he can jump? Do I know how far he can clear? Do I know how much extra I'm going to get from the hover, from the dog? Everything is predictable. Everything is clean. Everything is super precise, and it has to be, because the later levels, those void levels, will test you. And every time you die in those levels, it is because of you.
Oh, you can't blame the gameplay.
Not at all.
You can't blame anything like that. It is 100% a skill issue, 100% a user problem when it comes to those errors, yeah.
Can we talk about later about specific levels and challenges within them?
Mm-hmm.
But
of course. Yeah.
What I would like to maybe talk about, because I'm desperate to get onto it, is the haptic feedback.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, you've banged on about this for the best part of a year, Cardinal. Okay, I'm going to give you the microphone to let you say what you need to say. Go on ahead.
Look, okay. Big selling point of Astro Bot is what it does with your controller on your PS5. And it's not gimmicky, it just completely enhances the experience, whether that's the sound, which is constant through the controller, and the feedback and all the different things it does. I thought Gran Turismo 7 was great, and I think this is the best. Is it the best showcase of the DualSense tech?
Yes.
Chaps.
100%.
Yeah.
100. It is. That's right. Great. Glad we had this discussion.
Yeah. I think when I picked this up, I think I mentioned it on What Are You Playing? And I don't think you were there, Karen. I think it was just me and Tomahawk. But I said I started playing this game with my Sony Pulse Elites. And once I played it without them, I said the right way of playing this game is without headphones, because the DualSense, not only the vibrations, the haptic feedback, the little things it does to make you feel different materials of what you're walking on, it's the sounds. It's so immersive. You can hear hidden bots, and I don't know how they do this, but the sound from the bots come from the controller, but the speaker on the DualSense is central, but you can hear the direction that the robot is in. I don't know how they do that, but you can hear the direction the robot is in directly from your controller. It is an incredible showcase for the controller. Everything about the controller just works, and we could tell you what all it does. It all sounds like a gimmick, but it's not a gimmick. It is pure immersion in your hands. It's incredible. Even use your microphone to blow the windmills in order to make things happen.
Yeah.
And things like it uses every element. It uses every element of the DualSense.
It's funny as well, because we talk about how like you get the sound and the feedback and stuff on the controller, because if I'm playing it on like the big TV as such, so I'm not playing with headphones in or anything like that, I'll have the volume on like whatever the volume is set on it. The controller is so kind of like enhances that. I could probably play that on 0 volume and still get the same sort of experience of just like the atmosphere and the sort of what the level is kind of generating just through the controller audio alone. And I think that's a testament as well. I sat there, I think the other day, and was like, I actually can't hear the TV, but then I'm like, oh no, I can hear the like Astro's feet on certain materials and stuff. And then it's in the pause menu where all the rescued bots are hiding in the touchpad, and you can just flick the controller, like even have that interactive element as well. It's so good, and you don't see that in a lot of games, to be fair. I suppose you don't need to, but whereas this like properly enhances that and like really leans on it as a playing experience.
And they miss no opportunity to use the DualSense. When you rescue the robots, they go into the controller, and you can feel them. If you tilt the controller, you can feel the robots inside your controller. And the haptic feedback is so good that you can feel individual. You know how many robots you have in that controller based on the number of bumps it's going to do when you tilt it forward or tilt it back or shake it. You can hear them through the controller. You can feel their vibrate. It's an incredible. If I really like this controller. You know, I think I made fun of Tomahawk for saying this is an iconic thing in PlayStation's history. I laughed. I still think it's a laughable thing to say on a podcast, Tomahawk. No offense.
But you do have
I think it will be. I think it will be. I think it is. As a controller, it is the next logical progression in what you can expect. It is the only thing that links us to video games physically. And it's a really important element of any console. And I do think that the DualSense is the next logical progression of video game controllers. I think from this point on, video game designers are going to, add more and more like haptic sensory feedbacks through the controllers.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what's done next, because this controller is incredible.
Well, that's it as well. It's when you start getting like the add-ons and stuff. So like the frog boxing gloves, I think is one that definitely stands out to me, at least anyway. It's like you can feel when you get that power up, the whole controller tenses up. And I know that we talk about it in like certain games, but this is like fully all of the trigger buttons just go zzz, zzz, right. This is what we're doing now, and you have to like properly. You can feel that like tension, like trigger pull, nearly.
Yep.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, there's loads of things about it, and I'm going to say something, and I don't know if it's an actual thing or if it's just the immersion that the controller is giving me. When you walk through mud, right?
Yes.
You can feel the mud in the controller. You can feel the stickiness of the mud. But does it tense up the analog thumbstick used for moving, or is that pure in my mind?
What you're seeing is Astro Bot's moving slower.
And the sounds coming from the controller.
And the
I feel as if there's pushback.
But I don't know if the DualSense has that ability.
Is it
That's the
gaslighting
thing.
us?
I think it is just the sensory feedback from the controller making us make that connection in our head.
I think it's something you feel just with the vibrations of the movement of the controller plus your visual,
which is
communication,
which is far more impressive an effect than actually having that technology in the controller. Right?
Yeah.
It shows you how immersive it is when you're feeling sensations that don't actually exist. That is a testament to how good Astro Bot uses the controller. It is not only the best use of the DualSense controller on the PlayStation 5, it is the best use of a controller I have ever experienced in a video game, including light gun games.
Oh,
I'm statement.
Tomahawk, you touched on playing it without sound, which just with the sound of the controller, which I still think is slightly criminal. And I judge you. I judge you for many things, and this being another one. But if you look at Spotify, there's a Astro Bot playlist with 87 songs on it. 87, and that's out of date because there's some missing on them from new levels and so on. But but the sound comes through the controller. Chef's kiss.
Oh, it's so good. Like the soundtrack's
come
so
a long
good.
way from Division 2.
We talked about the Christmas episode as well. In our Christmas episode, the Christmas world in Astro Bot. Just it's like you talked about the music there slightly. So
I need your help.
Put into it, and it's like it's just the Astro Bot theme, but it's played with like jingle bells, and they do it across the that first level sets the tone, and it always has that like Astro Bot drum and bassy kind of bit, but then like they add the theme, so the jungle theme, and then they got the space theme, and then you got like your spooky castle theme. The music's so good, it's so present throughout, and I'm always just finding myself having a wee bop of the head, and sometimes you accidentally match a jump and a spin and a laser to the rhythm of the music, and you're like, cool, we've got ourselves a accidental rhythm game here.
Yeah, I'm going to go one further. I think the music in Astro Bot's incredible. Simply incredible. The hub world, your planet you crash on, the music there, it's a desert, but it is so like Astro Bot drum and bass rendition of like a classic spaghetti western.
Yes.
And it fits so well.
They match the vibe so well with like the theme, the overture of the music. Yeah.
The amount of time me and the kids have walked around this house just humming or whistling or singing an Astro Bot song is just incredible. Every piece of music in this game fits tonally into the levels, and when you get into like the guest bot levels,
yes,
where they take all those games, I don't really want to spoil any of those for anyone who hasn't played this game, because if you're not getting the vibe of this episode, this is going to be a really well reviewed game from us, and I think you should be playing it. But I think if we go into too much detail of what levels exist, I think we can talk about one or two because they were in the promotional material. So everyone knows that there's a God of War level because that was part of the promo, and I think everyone knows about the Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes,
level.
Aloy's in the.
But I don't really want to spoil it. And we now know there's a Rogo level. Well, I can't wait for that one because that's what a game. But
it's just a regular level. It's not even like a final galaxy.
Yeah. It's not like tied in. It's not an isolated episode. It's just tied into the normal like narrative, really.
Incredible
music,
but like the
local Rogo episode, by the way, that's been one of the most played songs in my house.
I love it. But the way they take all of those like themes of the game that they're in, the way it takes the God of War theme, turns it into Astro Bot's like rendition of it. The The Horizon Zero Dawn one's also excellent, and there is one or two other ones in there that are incredible. There is one level in particular, it's probably my favorite of the guest levels I've played so far. It takes place in a jungle, but the theme music for it is just incredible. The music here is just so charming, so twee. It is, again, so Nintendo-esque, but it has more than enough character. It fits tonally into what it's trying to do, and when it needs to, it makes these fantastic callbacks into PlayStation history. It's just, as a visual audio package, it's almost perfection. It's almost perfection.
I do want to talk a little bit about those guest levels, because I think they come into play at the end of every
Galaxy
boss. Like, once you do it at the end of every boss, you meet the hero that you've saved in that instance, and then you go to their planet afterwards, and it's like just here's the homage to that series.
Yeah.
And it sort of feeds back to what we were talking about, the gameplay loops of the game of it as well. This just like playing the bot of war level, it just suddenly felt like I was playing God of War. Like the aim the axe, the throw the axe, the call the axe back, the combat suddenly felt like I was in God of War. The Horizon Zero Dawn felt like I was aiming the bow in slow motion. Yeah. I don't know how they did it, and I don't know how they've captured that that magic in that first time playing in a little childish platformer is effectively what I want to call it. Like, but I just was like, wow, that is like, and it's very modern PlayStation, like, you know, the newer franchises and stuff that have newer titles on the PS4, PS5 as well. So just whimsy, and I felt nothing but joy even going through those levels. And I was like, I'm not playing a platformer anymore. I'm playing an action adventure. I'm playing an RPG. I'm playing something that is not Astro Bot in this instance. Like, and they absolutely knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. They make all these franchises. They retain what made these franchises what they are, but do enough to keep it Astro Bot-y. One of my favorite moments of Astro Bot was in the Bot of War level. And it is when you find, I think it's the first bot in the level, the first character bot in the level, where you have to break boxes and it reveals a narrow passageway through cliffs.
Oh, yeah.
And when you enter that, it's like thick snow, and it slows Astro Bot's walking speed to a crawl, and you're in a narrow, like, crevasse between two rock faces, and it does a perfect modern representation of those little thin crawl spaces. You remember in the last couple of generations, where if you wanted to load the next part of the level, you'd have to walk through a narrow passageway really slowly in order to get the game to load it. And it felt, I laughed at it because it's so self-referential, and it is just perfect a moment. It's just, the walking speed's perfect, his hands are right, he's touching the wall, and you can see where you're going. It's just a brilliant little nod to players that would get the reference. And it made, I was in fits laughing, and my ones were like, "Why are you laughing about, Danny?" And I was like, "You won't get it.
Don't understand."
But it's just fun. It's just little things like that. It's not just the fact that they have Astro Bot at God of War and it feels like God of War, or, you know, Horizon Zero Dawn feels like Horizon Zero Dawn, or all the others feel like the game they are. But it's all those little nods. Do you remember this about this game series?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's just fantastic.
It does a brilliant thing though, because you have those levels in Astro Bot from its release in September last year, you said, to now.
Yeah,
they're still putting content out. They're still putting free updates out. More, you know, like mainly it's the sort of speed run levels and maybe mainly the platforming side of things. But it's nothing stopping from them putting out more of their older franchises and just go, here's a level, here's some more bots in that old style of that game that you remember and beloved so much. Like, because there's a load of franchises that you only kind of get a snippet of, be rescuing a bot or rescuing from a scene, it's got this like potential for like evergreen content and like throwback evergreen content. Definitely.
The developers Astro Bot worked with like old game directors or license holders of these other games, the more nostalgic games, to like, can we get them? Yeah, of course we can. And they were enthusiastic. It was like, absolutely, you can
make
have
this work. Yeah,
1997 one-off PlayStation 1 hit character from France. And they launched him right in, and you rescue that bot, and he's part of your little sandy, dusty world, home world, and become the ever grows with more and more hundreds and hundreds of bots.
Yeah,
which just keeps evolving.
I know that's it, because like Endgame shows you at like 305 bots or something to collect, and then when you finish the story, it goes up to like 380 something. Like off, like immediately when you hit end credits, it's like, oh no, you're not done. You're not done by any stretch of the imagination.
But part of that is because of the added content, and there's been some publishers that didn't have bots or any characters involved, and now they've like Square. Hello.
Exactly, yeah. That was one glaring omission that I noticed as well, and it only took until a bonus like mission afterwards. I went, "Oh, okay, that's where they're hiding."
I think it was only in the last update they finally added a Final Fantasy character.
Crazy,
yeah,
which is great.
Yeah, which is strange as well, because Playroom had them all from 7.
Yes,
there was definitely Sephiroth and Cloud in Playroom.
Yeah, there was indeed. Yeah. That's wild, but like it has this like avenue for evergreen content, and as you say, other publishers, license holders are keen to be involved.
And I'm a sucker, right? I mean, you talked about the special Horizon Dawn, but the God of War episode. I've never played God of War, but that music and level was absolutely banging.
Yeah,
that was incredible. I just want to play it for the music alone. The Horizon Zero Dawn, I did play Horizon Zero Dawn. I haven't finished it yet, but it was just because that level was awesome. I was like, skip representation seems really good.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
It is a good game, but no, it's just, and this is what it's all about. I think you called it an advertisement earlier on, Tomahawk. I think that's a real disservice to what Team Asobi are doing with this. It is obviously fan service, and to an extent, of course, it's an advert. But what Team Asobi do with everything in these games is, it's not just there for the sake of being there. 3/4 of the stuff you're never going to notice, and it's just in there with a real like reverence for PlayStation history, and there's a real respect for the player there as well, because there's a lot of deep cuts in this, like hugely deep cuts, and it will take a very special type of player to go, oh, that's X character from X game. Do you know what I mean? And I've
looked them up.
There's so many characters. I still haven't found a Robert from Jumping Flash. I'm sure he's in there somewhere. I'm sure he's in there somewhere.
Oh, my lips will remain sealed.
I hope he is, because for me, when I think PlayStation 1, Robert is one of the first characters to come to my mind, because it was everywhere. It was on Demo 1. It was on the first demo disc of official PlayStation magazine and everything. And he is a great looking character.
And we talk about this fan service and old in the games like Robert, whether they will or may not appear in your home levels coming soon. But I've just noticed on the PlayStation Plus catalog, some of these games have appeared since September 2024, of which I've noticed Robert Jumping Flash is on the PS Plus catalog now. And I just wonder, is there that revival of recognizing these are PlayStation games that PlayStation should be putting on this back catalog of classic games?
Do something with them, please, Sony. But it's fan service done correctly. It really adds a lot to this game, and it elevates it for me as a PlayStation fan of 30 years. I've been there since day one, and there's so many characters like, damn, I forgot about that character even existing. and that game franchise and all this here, it's just done so right. And I think we haven't talked about the graphics yet of Astro Bot. They are incredible.
Talk to us.
Yeah. Like, it's just like silly wee things, like even just how the wind affects like the long grass and stuff like that, and how even the flamingos in the first level just kind of, they're robots, they're cartoon robots, but they look so good.
And it's a simple thing, it's not like a complicated character model.
No, I still don't like the design of Astro.
His little pot belly, and he's no business wearing a cape like a little bozo.
I think the cape.
He's the only one who wears a cape. He's the only one who thinks he's cool enough to wear a cape.
He's the hero.
Nobody else. The rest of them are all getting stuck down ladders and inside pots. So
I'm gonna make my hot take on this was that is Astrobot. I would have said at one point Astrobot's the villain, because all these robots are just doing their own thing on their own little worlds, and he comes in, kicks them in the head, traps them in a controller, and then strands them on a planet with no way off.
They want to be kicked in the butt.
That
they do. When you find them, they turn around and pat their bums. They want you to kick them.
I don't think they want. Nobody really wants to be kicked.
They do. But this is one of the things I love about the graphics. Like, technically, the graphics are incredible. They're super clean. They run really smooth. They're really high resolution. But it's everything, like you've talked about there, Tom. It's the creatures that aren't enemies run through every level. But it's the amount of character everything has. The flowers that sing, the big tree, the way when you finish
as well, the giant robot who like helps you platform some of the other levels as well, and everything just like feels alive in the world.
Think back to the little bonus, those levels where there'd be like an asteroid going around a galaxy and you hit it and it unlocks another one. Some of them are like pixelated levels.
Yes.
Those individual pixels. So even Astrobot's characters could be like kind of pixely, square, polygony. Sorry, but if you like kick a tree or a flower, it'll explode into individual pixels across the ground, which you can kick individual pixels. Polygons. The enemies are all the same enemies, but they're polygony, pixely. And they burst out into boom. My child was playing this before we recorded and wanted to clean the episode by knocking down every tree and plant and then kicking off every pixel off the platform.
To be fair, I do that as well a lot. There's the levels with the fans and all the leaves, where if you spin, you'll spin the leaves off the level. There's acorns. There's everything. You collect coins, and it's even the small incidental details like Astrobot. Back of his head, he's a machine, so there's ray tracing on the back of his head at all times. But even the PlayStation coins that you collect, they ray trace reflections as they rotate in the level. It's just incredibly
attention
impressive.
to detail is so good, like really,
it's an incredible piece. And it's even when you get to the end of the level and you get to the little flag platforms, all the characters jump out of the controller. And they all have individual dances. Like Crash Bandicoot does his, I completed the level and got every crate dance. And things like this. It's just incredible. It's incredible. So it is. It's just a great game. It's
a bit of magic.
It really is.
Truly is.
It's colourful. It's vivid. It controls brilliantly. It looks amazing. And I really, really, really don't have a bad thing to say about Astro Bot at all. Favorite level though? What's your favorite level? What's your favorite power up? What's your favorite power up?
Favorite power up, I think,
not
has
including
to be
special episodes where you
not including special, just normal regular levels.
I think it has to be the frog gloves. I think the wee sticky punch gloves. I think they're great. They're just a good laugh, and it's tied probably between them and maybe I was going to say maybe the monkey hands, but no, I don't like the monkey hands as much. No, I think it's going to be the frog. I think for me, it's the frog power up. I think it's so funny. It's so different. And it's just a good laugh whenever you do have them.
the villain arc Tomahawk story doesn't like the buggy hands because it reminds him of the time he cheated in season 5.
Yeah.
During that speedrun level.
Moving on swiftly.
I would have to go for. I do like a lot of them, but I will go with the mouse episode that I mentioned earlier, where the mouse power up shrinks you down, and you can use that in a later level or two later on, and shrink yourself down and go exploring in little mini worlds inside big worlds. There's like whole dimension. There's like 2 levels within the one level at different sizes and scopes. It was magic. It was great. I liked it.
I was going to say the mouse level. Okay. So like the mouse level is so imaginative. It's just everything that this game stands for. It feels like there's 2 levels in one level, and the sense of the scale change is really impressive. Like there's a bit in the first time you're in the mouse suit, you come out of the building, you have to climb the plant.
Oh yeah,
but if you make them big, the plant's tiny. It's just so incredibly well done. It's just one heck of a game. It is one heck of a game. And I'm trying to think of anything else we really need to talk about. Those void levels, for as hard as they
difficulty and challenge.
Let's go. So I think as a casual, if you just want to get from start opening cutscene to closing cutscene,
Tomahawk,
you can get there in about 10 hours, Tomahawk?
Something like that, yeah. I think it was about 8 to 10 hours. Kind of doing Golden Path as such with a little bit of exploration. I think some of the earlier ones are the 100% completionist kind of trail is pretty handy. It's as you get into the further levels and a lot more exploring needs to be done. But I think it's platinum is something like 16 hours tops.
Oh, it's longer than that.
Longer than that.
Right now. I'm telling you right now, it's longer than that. I'm 18 hours in.
Oh, right. Okay. Maybe if you speed run platinum, then.
And I haven't even finished the story. And I'm trying to get absolutely everything. I'm doing everything as it appears.
Oh, you're doing completionist in one run. Okay.
I'm 18 hours in. It is not an 18-hour game.
It's so immersive, though, as a game. I'm losing hours into this, and it'll be maybe do a void run or a speed run or there's another one. It's like the Skull and Crossbones Planet. I can't remember what you call it there, but the content is there forever, and it's just it's brutal. It's brutally difficult when it wants to be.
Once you get into those later levels, you talked about the symbols. And obviously you got the triangle, X, square, and circle levels, which are all ridiculously hard. It accumulates eventually into a combination of. There's just one special episode or game level that's this all 4 symbols together. It's like a longer challenge, and no joke, that took me days. I don't know if I posted it in our chat at the time. I posted it to somewhere, maybe the internet, into the void, but I just tried for days to complete this because there was no checkpoint. It was longer than those other challenges.
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to keep an eye out for that.
And then the new update, there's one particular level, and it's got nothing to do with the story. None of these levels you have to do. These are bonus challenges. But this is I think it's Sephiroth. Could I say that? It was announced in an update. Anyway. The music it's another challenge level. There's no checkpoints. And you have to find this flow, as you say, of jumping, spinning, going across glass that breaks away, going across ice in certain parts. It uses every little trick in the book to annoy you and to get you to certain points or get you to fall off. But the music evolves as you go through the level or you get further in, and it starts to add more of a beat, and then it starts to become more ominous. And it's actually an incredible tune. And you're kind of at the end of it, you want to hear the tune. But you have to keep focused.
I'm gonna have to check out the soundtrack on Spotify now. I kind of just forget that is an option in this day and age as well.
If you feel once you complete one of those levels, you feel like I am a gaming god. Like, bring on high scores, high stakes, season 6. This, if I can do this,
has to be done.
Yeah, it's one of those games. I don't think it will tax most gamers to get just from start to finish. It won't. It's when you start getting into the weeds, when you start looking for everything, when you start taking on all those simple challenges, those void levels, the hidden warp levels as well, or some of them are quite difficult. You can make this game as easy or as hard as you want for yourself. And I think it's for one thing I have noticed is, as long as you do those simple levels in order of Galaxy, there is a real progression to them, and there is a smooth enough difficulty curve. Nothing comes yet all of a sudden. There's no level it's like, oh my goodness, this is so much difficult than the one that came prior. That doesn't exist in this game, but it's when you start going off the beaten track, that's where the difficulty is. It is when it strips you of all the accoutrement. Once you lose all those power-ups, level-specific power-ups, and it's just you and the level, that's where the real teeth of Astro Bot appears. And some of those levels are extremely difficult. One of the very early symbol levels, I think it was a triangle, but it was, the jumps were massive, so you had to use your laser glide to make them, but the platforms were all glass. So you had to cut your hover that wee bit early to give you the 2 steps before the glass shatters under your feet. It was exceptionally difficult. It was great level design.
And there's like an electrocuting triangle spinning around. So you could never stand on the same point twice, and where you had to stand was constantly evolving. Because otherwise you get fried. Gosh. How does this compare? Because I haven't completed a lot of these other ones, but in terms of difficulty, Crash Bandicoot, Mario Odyssey, whatever, Sackboy, how does this compare for difficulty?
I think Road to Nowhere is where I sort of benchmark difficulty platforming for Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot's level, Road to Nowhere, that is where I benchmark difficulty for the sake of difficulty. Astro Bot hovers in and around that at times, especially in the platform specific bonus levels, needlessly hard at times.
I think at this stage we're saying those bonus levels, those symbol levels, I guess, as an example.
I think core game, there's no comparison between Crash Bandicoot and this. It's like Road to Nowhere, is a hard level, but there's Wild Hog, brutally hard level in Crash Bandicoot, and then there was that one Sunset Vista, which I think pound for pound is the hardest level in Crash Bandicoot. It's long, it's difficult. The challenge, just so many challenges being thrown at you at once. I don't think Astro Bot ever throws different sort of challenges at you all at one time. It will give you a challenge and go, can you beat this challenge? And it stacks them in the symbol level and stuff, but I don't think it's anywhere near as hard as Crash Bandicoot as a game. Getting to the end of Crash Bandicoot is a challenge in itself. Whereas Astro Bot, it can be difficult, but I don't think it's as hard as Crash Bandicoot.
Main game Astro Bot is pretty it is child's play by comparison, but I think when you take certain levels, when you take the isolated special levels, that's when it gets a bit of a difficulty spike. But core game is a walk in the park, to be honest. By comparison,
from the symbol levels I've played, I would rather play the symbol levels in Crash Bandicoot. 100%.
Fair, yeah.
I still think Crash Bandicoot's harder than the ones I've played. I've no doubt they'll get harder and harder and harder, but they are close in difficulty to one another. Those symbol levels in Crash Bandicoot's just game, really close to difficulty level. I think it's a really good one. I really like Mario Sunshine. I know that might make me weird from the Mario, but I really like the void levels in Mario Sunshine. The void levels in Astro Bot are way harder than the void in Sunshine, in my opinion. I think it's if you avoid those void levels, there's no challenge here. If you get into the weeds and start going after everything, it becomes a difficult game. But it's a great game, and it's always fun to play. That's the thing. Even when you're dying, you're like, well, okay, we can beat this because I've beat everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
I've everything else I've thrown at me, I've beat. And the levels are really short. Those void levels are less than a minute. All you need to do is play perfect for less than a minute. That's all. That's all the game asks.
I mean, it's all it asks. It's not nothing strenuous, like.
But no, what a great game. Anything else we need to talk about, gentlemen? We've talked about. I think we've exhaustively talked about
gameplay, homages,
haptic, difficulty, the selling and fan elements of.
I think we've ticked every box. Really, I can't see anything that is not.
One last question. One last question before we get into the tier of this game, which I don't think there's much suspense about what tier we're putting this in. Favorite bot?
Ooh, I think it's Solid Snake.
Okay.
I think it's so simple at the start because you pick him up with this box, and then when you interact with him on the hub planet, he you knock the box off, and he's like reading his little, the wee pervy magazines that you got in the original game as well, and he gets embarrassed and he throws the box back over himself.
Yeah, he's a really great bot. What are you, Cardinal?
And that is, I think that's it. Once you can unlock bots and bring them back to your home world, but then you use your gacha machine with
to spend your coins and stuff,
to add a bit of more flavor. But it's one of the recent. I'm not saying this because of who he is, but it's Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. Because when you interact with him now, it's every time you kick him, his limit bar goes up. He's got like a little limit bar. Right, OG Final Fantasy VII, and then once it goes off, he's he goes ham on you with his Buster Sword. But
my one's the Crash Bandicoot one, because to me it's the most unique looking one, because he is wearing like a rubber suit. And he does the wee dance, the wee I completed 11, got all the boxes, that dance. It's just it's just a great game. It's just a great game, but the Crash Bandicoot bot is my favorite. It just looks incredible. Even when, when you start the game up and everyone's on the back of the dual speeder and it's a random assortment of bots. Yeah, it's just incredible, man. It's just incredible. Right, let's just put this in S tier. Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna be as brazen as that, I think it's 100% an S tier game. They've smashed this out of the park. I would be surprised if in a couple of years' time we see Astro Bot 2 in some sort of push or some spin-off, or however they have a huge well to work from, and it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. This game brought me so much joy to play, and you can backseat it, you can lock in. It's perfect.
Yeah, Cardinal.
The only wrinkle for me is the lack of pushing this that PlayStation does, or Sony.
Yeah.
I think that, guys, you've got your Mario here. I bought this off a third-party website. If someone else is making it, get merch out there, because my kid wants it. Give me a t-shirt. But really, it felt like this is PlayStation. This is my PlayStation 5, and here's the fun I can have with 30 years of PlayStation history, and it's fun per minute. So it's an S tier for me.
Yeah, it's an S tier for me. After 30 years, PlayStation finally has their mascot. And as you say, Cardinal's frustrating to see them not push the life out of Astro Bot. It really is.
Yeah.
Like, the merchandise writes itself. Just Astro Bot in every character, costumes. Build-A-Bear type thing.
Yeah.
It writes itself. But no, it's an S tier game for me. This is, it's the type of game Sony should be making more of. A game that families can enjoy together. A game that is just a game. And this released at what, £50? It was
still that price as well.
A mid-tier game with a lot of content that they've just added to for free. I do believe Team Asobi said that that's it. They will update like leaderboards and stuff to keep it relevant, but there's no more content for this game. They want to move on to the next thing, which I've no doubt in my mind is going to be Astro Bot 2, and it's going to be out in a few years. But this is the type of game that it's a type of game that the games industry should stand up and take notice of, because it is a mid-tier game. It didn't cost the sun, the moon, the stars to make it. It didn't cost £400 million. It didn't take 6,000 people to make it. It was cheap, cheerful, high quality. This isn't like one of the best games I've played this year. It's probably the best game on PlayStation 5.
Bold
statement.
But yeah, it's awesome. Like, I mean, it's definitely so like party. Accessible definitely. To everybody as a first party title as well. Yeah,
first party game is the best in the PlayStation 5. It is the best showpiece for what the PlayStation 5 is all about and what Sony's all about and what the game industry should be all about, in my opinion. It's
a reason to buy a PlayStation 5.
100%. And it comes packaged with every PlayStation 5, I think, now.
That's it.
It's the pack-in game, I'm pretty sure, yeah. I'm certain that there is definitely a Astro Bot pack-in anyway. But but that brings us to the end of it. Just a great game. If I had to play this last year, I probably would have got my game of the year 2024.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
One unanimous one that we'll have there, yeah.
Four-sided High Scores High Tech member said that.
But that means
you'd just be rushing back to playing Final Fantasy 16 before you know it.
with Astro Bot all tiered up, it's time to wrap it up. And that is it, gentlemen. Another game of the month all wrapped up. And you know what that signifies, don't you? It is the
first full calendar year.
It's the first full calendar year where we have covered 12 games in Game of the Month. We have done it. We have done it. That simple schedule change really paid off big time. 12 months, 12 games. We'll have to collate what we've given all the games and create some sort of big graphic of what tier list we put all these games on that we've reviewed. But Astro Bot is done. 2025 is done. 12 more games next year, gentlemen. Can't wait.
Just got to start prepping. The prep starts now, doesn't it?
That's it.
Yeah, gaming.
This is usually the point where we tease or just tell people what the next game is. We don't know. But we will know come the end of this month. But yeah, that's it. The only thing left for us to do then is just the housekeeping, which is if you listened to this and enjoyed it, give us 1 star to 5, whatever you think we're worth. That's what we get. If you want to give a written review, that's even better because it feeds algorithms and pushes Spotify to push it out. If you want to share this episode or any episode you've listened to with friends and family members, do that. It helps out massively. And if this 1 hour-ish episode isn't enough to fill your week, then get yourself over to highscoreshighstakes.com. There you'll find every episode we've ever done and little mini reviews of every challenge game we have ever played and more, with more content to come. It is all very, very, very content heavy. And with all of that being said, and with 2025 done for Game of the Month anyway.
That's right.
I have nothing left to say except having Mr. Luvva Luvva. This has been High Scores High Stakes Game of the Month Club. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next month. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.